This setup is changing over here. Sure. Nope. Hey. Hello. See, that wasn't too long, right? Sorry, you guys. Thank you, Capathia Jenkins. I love her so much. What an epic woman. What an epic woman. She is the version of the term epic. She is. But you guys, now we go from epic and we cross the line to legend. My next guest. Oh my gosh. She is the voice of Broadway. She is Broadway. I can't say enough wonderful things about her. She is one of my favorite voices, one of my favorite people, and she has one of my favorite names ever. You guys, we're going to bring in, where is she? Are you here, girl? We are going to bring in, everybody, Shoshana Bean is with us. Hi!
Hi, baby girl. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for coming on. How
My
are you?
pleasure. I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. Are you in New York? Are you quarantined in New York?
No, I'm in LA.
Oh, you
These are
are?
going to be annoying. Yeah. Thank you for doing this. What a lovely way to, make lemonade.
You know, it all started with Jonathan Lipnicki. It did. I was doing a live with a friend of mine, and he just popped on. And you know my little ballsy ass. I was like, do you want to go live with me? And he was like, yeah. And he went live, and here we are. We're booked for the rest of the month.
I love it.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's so cool. Being part of like an epic musical like yourself. Oh my goodness gracious. Wicked.
Oh, I was thinking Hairspray. I'm like, yes, we're in the same family.
Well, yes, Hairspray, but I mean, well, you know that I worked with Winnie Holzman, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so for everybody who doesn't know, Winnie wrote Wicked, and then Winnie also wrote Huge for me for ABC Family.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, with her daughter, Savannah Dooley, yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Loveliest woman. Winnie is one of the kindest, the most, she's just a ball of mush. She has the biggest heart.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She does. I remember it was so funny because those sets that we were out in like Calabasas. I don't even know where we were, Malibu, and like it was hot. It was like 100 degrees, and Winnie would come, and she was just so sweet, and everybody, we'd all be like out there like sweating and complaining, and she'd be like, it's so nice. Like, she's just so happy. I love her.
I know. Her spirit is really something special, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
When did you do Wicked, Shoshana?
A lifetime ago? I can't even believe anyone's still talking about it. 2004, 5, and 6.
Wow. I mean, and that role is work. That's not just like I'm going to drop into the theater, sing a few bars, have a cup of coffee, and go home.
Yeah, that's why they cast us young back then. That's why the young gals do it.
I know how that works. I know.
Yeah, it's a tough gig for sure.
And now, did you fly in that? You did fly, did you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun though? Because I have flown, and it's like.
It's like, no, it never really felt like flying because you're not suspended. You're actually standing on a platform. If I'm allowed, I mean, they're always like, you can't give away the secret. You're not actually suspended. So you don't have the feeling of sort of weightlessness. There is a foundation beneath you. And,
that's nice.
And also it's in the dark, essentially. The lights are all in your eyes. You have no spatial awareness. So the only times that it felt weird or scary or there was any physical sensation was, I think it was like once a week. It wasn't every night. Once a week you had a lift call where they had to test it and you had to go up and the lights would be on in the house. It's during work calls. So the lights would be on and I'm like, it's actually quite high. Oh, that's who I'm level with in the audience.
Yeah.
Those times where the sensation was crazy, but otherwise it's in the dark in your body. You have no sense of where you are.
Well, I mean, I flew in a TV show that I did, but they didn't give me like any foundation. They just said count to 3 in your head and you're going to go. And I counted to 3 and then I went whoop up 300 feet in the air. And
Was it
yeah,
like a harness or like
it was the harness around,
your crotch?
the fun times. And I was like, oh my God, this is so highly uncomfortable. First of all, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to have children now. And second of all, like, this is nuts. It was so fun though.
Really?
Yes.
They
And then they
flew you up
pranked
and then
me.
hung you there, or like,
They
wow.
pranked me at lunchtime. They said, okay, that's lunch. And they all left me in the air.
No.
And they all walked out and I was like, no. And they came back, of course. But it's
I
so
would be
fun.
freaking out.
Do you want to hear the craziest dream I've ever had?
Of course I do. I love
you know
dreams.
How everybody says us actors have a nightmare of like getting on stage and not remembering the lines, or this is
I
what
still have that anxiety dream about Wicked. Always, that I'm not green in time, that I don't know the changes, that like it's places and I'm like, you guys, we didn't even rehearse. Like
yeah.
that, it's been 15 years, 16 years, and I still have that dream.
Well, my worst nightmare, honestly, was about Wicked.
See? Even people who haven't done the role have nightmares.
I had a nightmare that I was in Wicked, I think in London or something. And I literally got on stage and I think I was flying or something. And I was petrified. I didn't know anything. I was crying. I was like, I want to go home.
How is this possible? You've had the anxiety dream. Every
Yes.
Alphaba has this dream. You have gotten it by proxy.
I don't know.
Clearly.
I was like, what is happening? And it's weird because I never had it about Hairspray. It was, of all musicals, Wicked. But I guess because it's one of those musicals that is just so big.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on it. You can't, once the train starts, it and has left the station. If you're not on it, you're kind of screwed. So that's so funny. I've never heard of someone not in the show having that dream, but it is a common dream between all Alphabas that it's like there's still years. It's been years and we're still having that dream. So I just had it the other night, like I would say within the past week. So that's crazy.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know the feeling.
I mean, so when did you start singing? Like when were you just like, this is something that I want to do?
I think, I mean, it wasn't a choice. It just was something I always did. Around the house growing up, it just came very naturally, like breathing or walking. But I think, you know, my mom put me in like theater troupes and I auditioned for shows. And, you know, I think it was probably junior high, high school when it was kind of like, you know, you start having the conversations and looking at like, where are you going to go to college and where are we focusing your energy and attention? And I had a great voice teacher at the time who, you know, knew a lot of the colleges and just sort of like was like, you know, that you can go and do this. I just wanted to be Mariah Carey for a living. And she was like, you know, see, there was some goddess of music who was like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. And she was like, if you have to go to college and you have a choice of majors, like you can major in musical theater, which sounded ridiculous to me. I was like, who needs an education to be on Broadway? Honestly, how wrong I was. But that is not to say for any, you know, teenager or high school student watching that you have to have an education to be successful in this business. I don't believe that at all. Hi, Chess.
Hi, Chester Gregory. How are you? Well, I agree. You know, I got Hairspray my senior year of high school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got it the night before my senior prom.
Oh my God. What was it? Can you just reenact for me? Like, how did you find out? Did they call you? Did you lose explain?
They came to Cold Stone because I worked at a Cold Stone.
Oh, right. What am I saying? I remember this.
They said for each of the 4 final girls, we want to send somebody to their hometown and, you know, do like a behind the scenes. I said, okay, sure. They said, for you, we want to come to Cold Stone. I said, come on down. So they came. Shoshana, I was making sundaes and asking New Line executives if they wanted colored or rainbow, rainbow sprinkles or chocolate sprinkles. I mean, I had no idea who I was talking to. So they're filming me, and there's a camera crew there, and I'm all excited, and my coworkers are there, my bosses, my teachers were there who let me cut class to
Oh,
audition. Everybody, I mean, because I grew up in a small town, so a camera crew was there. Everybody wants, you
sure,
know,
sure, sure. Very big deal.
yeah. So I'm there, and they said, "Would you sit down and watch some of the other people's screen tests?" And I said, "Sure." And I sat down, and
I can't believe you
first,
said yes.
yeah,
Like,
I would have stood on my head if they asked me to.
oh,
And they said, "Oh, the camera guy said, I think you should sit down." I didn't know. I should have known that. I sat down, and a laptop opened, and it was Adam Shankman, and he looked so sad.
I'm gonna cry.
And he went like this. He looked up, and he goes, "Nikki, I think you should go make yourself a big ice cream cone because it's you, sweetheart. You're gonna be playing Tracy Turnblad, and in the new movie Hairspray." And Shoshana, I lost it. That was the first outer body experience of my life.
Oh my
It was like
God.
I was across the street watching it happen. I fell off my chair. I was uncontrollable. I was like a
Yeah.
fish out of water. And I remember it took like 4 people. I just started crying and screaming. And my mother went, "Oh my God, there's cameras." Joey, to my brother, "Joey, go tell your sister to get up off the floor. She looks like an idiot." And I just looked at her, and I just yelled, "I got the part," and that's all I could get out. And
Oh,
yeah.
that is so sweet. I forgot about that. Oh my God, that makes me cry just even hearing the
And then
story.
I got
That's
to
so sweet.
prom the next day, and so none of my friends knew I had auditioned. Nobody.
Okay, okay.
I didn't tell anybody because if it didn't happen, I didn't want to have to tell them why. I
Right,
would
right,
have
right, right, right. Smart.
So I said, I'm not going to tell anybody. Well, now I got to tell everybody. And it's not just like regular kids. Like these were like very serious theater kids. Like I went to
Oh
like,
shit.
yeah, very serious, like auditioning for Juilliard and Tisch
Right,
and like
thespians, honey,
yes,
thespians.
thespians. This is what they want you to do. And
Yeah.
I remember I stood up there at pre-prom, and I was like, "Guys, I auditioned." I remember I called my prom date that day, Rob, and I said, "Rob, I got to talk to you." And he said, "What?" And I said, "I auditioned for a movie, and because my friends were telling me there's a new Hairspray movie, you should audition." I was like, I don't have time. Right. So I remember telling Rob, I said, "Rob, I auditioned for a movie, and I got it." And his response was, "Are you still going to go to prom with me?"
Oh, buddy.
And I
No,
said,
I'm already far too famous. I can't go to
right.
prom.
Well, my response was, because you know me and my sarcastic little self. And I said, "No, Matthew McConaughey is pulling up on a white horse. I have to go." And he was like, "Really?" I said, "No, you idiot. We're going to prom." And so I get to
No.
prom, and there were 3 dozen long stem red roses there and like a huge spray that said, "Welcome to the Hairspray family." I had
Oh
to
my
I
gosh.
had to call my mom and have her come pick up the flowers at prom. And then
Oh my
literally
God.
the next morning I woke up. I slept for I think 3 hours after I got home after partying at prom. And I'll never forget, we went to the city after, and I got out of the party bus, and I was standing
Don't
in,
ever party bus.
in front of, are you ready, where they just magically dropped us off in front of? The
Not the Neil
Hairspray
Simon.
Theater.
The Neil
Yes.
Simon.
We
Oh.
went to a restaurant at the corner, and I went outside to call my mom, and I turned around and I went,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And there it
How
was.
perfect.
Yep.
We Jews would call that beshert. It means it's
That
meant
is,
to
yes,
be.
exactly right. That is, yes.
I love that story. Aw.
So it's crazy. I mean, what has been that role for you that you just wanted so bad that you were just like, I can't believe I got it?
I think if I think that it's I don't think there's ever been anything that I knew enough about to say I can't believe I got it. I guess it would have just been the Wicked experience because it existed prior, and I stood by first, so I got to see like what that life looked like, and shadowing Adina and seeing that. And I definitely at some point in that process was like, I want this to be
Yeah.
mine. I want to take over for her. So that would be the only experience where I had a desire for it, and then it came true. You know, and I just feel like sometimes it all happens so fast, and sometimes you get then thrown into the actual work of it. I mean, I did a summer stock, like, you know, what do you call it? Regional production of Funny Girl, but
Yeah. Oh,
that's the role. So my dream role of life. So to even do it for a month like we did, it was still massive to know that I got to, like, you know, take it on. So
yeah. Have you met her?
who? Streisand?
Barbara. Yeah.
I was like, Fanny Bryce, was dead long before I was born. No, I have not met Barbara, not even been in the same vicinity as Barbara.
She's spectacular. I
Is
met
she?
her. Yeah.
Oh,
John introduced me, and I didn't know what was happening. He was like, "I want you to meet my friend." I don't know who your friends are, sir, but my friends, hello, if I want you to meet my friend, I'm not taking it to meet an Oscar. Like, you're going to meet Joe Schmo down the street. We're going to have a cup of coffee. Don't get excited. You know,
oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
it's crazy. Who has been like somebody that, and I was just asking Capathia this because she was on before you. And I was like, who has been that one person that you've seen in the audience or, you know, after a show that you've been like, I can't believe you were here?
Oh gosh. I don't know. There are a lot of people, you know, a lot of people who I respected and admired who have come to the shows, but I think the first story that comes to mind and the best story that I think there is to tell was actually during Hairspray. And you know, I was in the ensemble and I understudied multiple roles. And so one night you know, they would swing us out to go watch the show. And this was at an earlier point in the run, so I hadn't seen the show yet, you know. And I remember, you know, the way that we were treated and sort of like directed by both Jerry and Jack was, as ensemble members, was as important, if you know, as the principals were. Like
Absolutely.
we took our roles very seriously, and it was a magical group of people too. They didn't they cast, like, you know, leads in the ensemble. Like, these were an ensemble of really solid performers. So we took it all very seriously, and we created backstories, and we had, you know, we went way too far with it. However, so you couldn't have told us that we were not also stars of the show, right? So um, I go to swing out, and I'm sitting at the sound booth to watch the show, and it was a matinee, I was a two-show day, and I remember just being like, oh my God, we're in the dark the entire time.
Yeah.
We're in the dark. Why am I working so hard? Why am I killing myself every day on this stage? You can't even see me. I'm in lime green and you cannot even. And I remember being so devastated that I thought that I was living in a totally different world than I was living in. So I go back to do the evening show that night, and I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, forget it. I'm never going to
Yeah.
bust my ass this way again, knowing that, like, no one's looking at us. We
Yeah.
have a full show going on back there. No one's looking at us, right? Well, I start the show, and of course, the opening number is Nicest Kids in Town. Or Good Morning Baltimore into Nicest Kids in Town. And it's just, first of all, by nature of who I am, I'm not built to not. Nicest Kids in Town is not written for you. You just can't resist what that show is doing. So we come out, and I'm like trying to give, you know, 50, 60, 75%. And it's impossible. All of a sudden, I'm like, you know, and at the end of that show, Harvey comes up to the dressing room, and he's like, Shoshana, can you come down to um my suite?
Yeah.
So I go downstairs, and Shirley MacLaine is there. And he said she wanted to speak with you. And she was like, and she proceeded to, you know, hold my hands in her hands and tell me her feelings about my performance in the ensemble of Hairspray. And I'll never forget it. And I remember being like, yeah, you can never you just never know who's watching you. You never know who's there. It shouldn't even matter. I mean, the bottom line is like, I'm just not wired to give less than that unless I am
Yeah.
ill or, like, you know, but Shirley MacLaine, that's my most memorable backstage moment. I've had a lot of beautiful backstage moments, but that one was a
Yeah.
lesson.
I remember after we did Hairspray, I was in a car with Adam Shankman, and we got two phone calls. It was like right after Hairspray had come out, and he goes, "You have to listen to this voice message," and it was Shirley MacLaine. And yes, and she, this whole message, and I heard her say, and you tell that girl who played Tracy. And I was like, oh my God,
Freaking Shirley MacLaine.
her and in the same car ride before her voicemail was a voicemail from Sarah Jessica Parker. I was like, I don't know what is happening in this vehicle. I don't get it. Oh, the Jersey Turnpike has never been so exciting in my life.
Magical
Jeez.
things happen on the Turnpike.
The most magical thing that's ever come out of Jersey.
Oh, I love that.
Now, the Tonys. I've done award shows, but as a musical theater person, that's got to be a whole other animal.
Yeah, I don't know how we made it through because the amount of energy that sort of courses through your veins in that moment, I don't know how, me personally, how my body did not levitate. It was very difficult to keep my feet. Like, I mean, it just, it's the Tonys. We're doing You Can't Stop the Beat of all things. So there's already this, I see our friends running down the aisles. It's freaking Radio City. The stage is massive. It's like, we knew we were, we knew our people were going to win. We knew we were going to win Best Musical. Like, it was like our night. It was our year. Like, it was crazy.
It was magic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sheer magic. And I get that because when I did a performance of I'll never forget, we went out to Vegas and Hairspray hadn't come out yet. It was for Show West, and it's like a big movie distribution thing with all buyers from around the world.
Yeah.
And I went out there, and I think I was 18.
Oh my God.
Yep. And they said to me, okay, so the entire cast is going to be there. James Marsden's performing, Queen Latifah, everybody's performing. Okay, great. All the dancers were out there. They flew us all out. They said, but you have to open it up. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a screen of Hairspray down. We're going to be showing Good Morning Baltimore. And then you're going to come out. So I surprised 5,000 of the world's biggest movie buyers.
Oh my God.
And do you know, for 3 days, my friends were texting me, come down to the pool and hang with us. I stayed in my room, I drank tea, and I watched like Murder, She Wrote in silence. I was I had to have my voice right. Were you exhausted?
Yeah. Oh, before. I was like, the recovery time from that kind of adrenaline.
Yeah,
like
you know what I'm saying? That kind of adrenaline, like getting up there and like knowing that the people that you're up there with are going to support you and perform to like, who is that for you? Like when you watched, like when you would get up on stage and you were like, I know this person has got my back. Like for me, I know when I'm up there, for Hairspray, for me, it was always, I always knew Elijah was always going to bring it home, ironically.
Aww.
Like I always knew us vocally would support each other. Who was that for you?
He's magical. I think my first, obviously with Hairspray, if I went on for Tracy, then Harvey obviously had my back. Well, and Matt definitely dragged me around that stage the first couple times. In Wicked, absolutely, Megan. And Ben Vereen, he would like coach us from the wings. He'd be like, come on, baby girl, let him have it. Come on. Like in the middle of Defying Gravity, I'm like, I got it, Dad. Can we talk about it in intermission? And then I would say in Waitress, it was Jeremy Jordan. He held me up, down, sideways, all around. Like he was a leading man like I've never had before.
I have to say, for my first movie, Zac Efron was the perfect leading man. He really was. He supported me every time.
You got so lucky. He's so dreamy.
Oh, Lord. yeah. Capathia and I were just talking about him because we were talking about traveling, and I was just telling her the horror stories of having, it's so amazing to travel with Zac, but it's a dangerous job.
Oh, sure.
You have to be like on guard at all points because those 5-year-olds are ruthless.
Oh,
they will take you out of the kneecaps.
Men are not the ones you have to be worried about. It's girls.
No, and it's like, people always think, no, you have to be worried about the girls. They are teenage girls. I would be more petrified of 2 teenage girls than 3 40-year-old men, I would be more afraid of like 2 teenage girls than like literally the entire Jets and Sharks coming up to me in an alley.
Yes, 100%. You cannot get
Your
between a
precious
teenage
little
girl and
things.
what she wants, honey.
No, but who was that for you when you were younger? Because I think I was that way with like, I didn't have like a big crush, but I was that way with like Jonathan Taylor Thomas and
Oh,
John Stamos, like those, and Hanson. Those were my men.
oh, we are such a different generation. That's so funny. Who, but you won't even know the people I'm gonna say. You weren't even
This is not,
alive.
yes, I was. Stop it.
Okay, Kirk Cameron was huge for
Oh,
us
sure.
from Growing Pains.
Oh,
I mean, I was like, this is, I know, controversial, and keep in mind it was a very different time, and he was a very different version of himself. But Michael Jackson was it for us growing up. Like, he was my George Michael. Like, clearly, I had a thing for maybe potentially homosexuals. Well,
well,
definitely
honey,
homosexual as far as.
all of us leading women in musicals do.
Oh
Come
yes,
on.
George Michael, Michael Jackson, Kirk Cameron. Those are the three like from my childhood for sure. Yeah.
And was there one that you met after that you were like, whoa? Because
I
I
did
actually
meet
had,
Michael. Yeah, I worked with Michael. Yeah. Never met George Michael, never have met Kirk Cameron, but Michael I worked with 2001, right before 9/11. We worked for like a month for the big 30th anniversary concert at Madison Square Garden. I sang backup with Patty. Wasn't Patty there? I feel like Patty sang on that with me too. A bunch of us from the BIV sang backup for that thing. So, and that was crazy because, of course, he had such a massive evolution through the different generations. And at this point, this was, he was, well, he was still 8 years from till, he passed, but he had young children at this time. He was very clearly, very thin and frail and it was, but still watching him work was like unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. So that was crazy. That whole concert was people like Whitney, him, Luther Vandross, like Ray Charles, Gladys Knight. The people I was raised on were all in the same room. Usher, Usher goes way back further than probably a lot of the children remember. But
I'm
it
just,
was,
I'm gagged.
yeah, that was it was a combo platter of like you don't want to meet your idols and you do want to see why they're your idols and things like he and J-Lo are the only two like real idols that I've gotten to meet and work with, and being able to be that close to their process, I'm like, thank you for showing me that I chose right. Like this is exactly the reason that I admire you and learn from you, because this is why you're a master.
Yeah,
Who's yours?
absolutely. I mean, there are some people that just like got it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think, John just has it, And I think for me, watching him working with him and Burt Reynolds, I think just watching
John
John
Waters?
Travolta.
Oh, Travolta. Got it.
Travolta and Burt Reynolds, I think for me, and Julianne Moore were the ones that I worked
Oh,
with that I was just like, they're on another level of just professionalism, and they come to work every day, and they don't act like they're these massive, insanely brilliant stars. They're just humble people. And I was telling Pathia, that was one of my favorite things about you, because Shobi, and you're like the voice of Broadway. You are Broadway. So, I mean, I'm just saying it. I'm giving you the title. I don't care. Fight
you're
me on it,
very kind.
everybody. I don't care.
God
Um,
bless you.
I don't, I could give two, but
That's why I love you.
but it is what your voice is just like mind blowing. I mean, do you write as well? You do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not these days, but yes,
Well,
technically
okay,
I
I
do
hear
right.
you. I've been trying myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in high school, did you do the shows? Did you do that whole thing? Yeah.
Yes and no. Like I think, I did like one music. I did sophomore and junior year. I in my school district, high school was sophomore, junior, senior year. We did freshman year and junior high, so seventh, eighth, ninth. So it was
Yeah.
only 3 years of high school. And there was a lot of politics in our theater department and games I didn't really want to play. And I was on the drill team and I wanted to go to the football games and I wanted to TP houses and I wanted to be a kid. I think some part of me knew like I'm going to spend the rest of my freaking life doing this.
Yeah.
I don't need to lose these precious 3 years. And so I usually had one foot in, one foot out to the, and which is probably why I never got like any real leads. I got supporting parts, but I never played the lead.
Really?
No, even my senior year where I was like, oh yeah, this is my role. He put me in the ensemble and I was like, all right, I'm not doing this. Um, yeah, so I was involved to the extent that it made me happy, but not to the extent that I was like sacrificing being a kid. You don't get those years back, guys.
You don't. I mean, hey, look, my high school years were some of the best years of my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, but I understand when you are somebody with a voice or somebody that wants to pursue a career in the career that Shoshana and I are in, you have to make a decision at a young age sometimes. And I remember,
You did.
I've been, you do. I've been singing since I'm 3 and I started training at 8. And I remember by the time I was like 12, I was like, this is going to be my career and this is what I'm going to do. And I remember in high school, I played 9 years of softball too. So, I mean, but I remember having to say, I can't do softball anymore because
Yeah.
I have to go full steam ahead with theater.
Yeah, the sacrifices are always the hardest part. The amount of attention and energy and focus, just like you were saying, you had 3 days in Vegas before this big event where your friends were like soaking up the sun and having cocktails and having a great time. And that's the hardest part about our job is like, making choices and prioritizing and sacrificing, like, what looks like fun sometimes, or,
Even
it
sometimes
demands a lot.
even sometimes relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can't handle us. Hey, some people can't handle us, Diva Shoshana being okay. These people sometimes they can't, and I know that fame can be tough to date somebody. Have you as fame as dating and fame been hard for you to navigate as well? Because I know it's been extremely difficult for me.
I wouldn't say that I've experienced fame, so I can't
Oh,
I
hush
can't
it.
say
Don't
that
make me
dating and
come over to
fame has.
LA.
I think that the real challenge for what I have watched for myself and for a lot of other women friends of mine who are extraordinary and successful at their jobs is it can be challenging to find men who are not threatened by it, who want to celebrate it, who are drawn to the light and don't want to put it out.
Well,
And
or
for
put it
the
out or
bigger,
be a part of it. That's for
being a
me.
part of it is great.
Yeah.
Fanning the flames and again, J-Lo and A-Rod, she's like, he wants me to be the best version of me. And it's like, that's the thing that's been hard to find. And what I have found for myself and for my friends, it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with our own self-worth. Like, we know our worth in the business. We know our worth as a professional. We know our worth. But for some reason along the way, we've maybe started to think we can't have it all, or like we're too strong, or I call it death. My friend calls it death by paper cuts, because it's like one person said you want too much. One person said you're too hard to keep up. One person said you're too strong. And you start to believe that like all of these things make you flawed and hard to love and not desirable or lovable. Or so you must settle for a man that like needs you to foot the bill and is fine to just travel with you and not have his own thing going on or whatever. And what I'm finding is like, it really is all of us knowing our own worth, and that we do deserve to have like a man like A-Rod and J-Lo has.
So true though, honestly. And I mean, I remember, I think for me, I think we can depend on ourselves. That's what I think it is. We can depend on ourselves to show up. We know what we're capable of. We know that we're going to give it like our all, and we know that we can count on ourselves. But then I think counting on somebody else is where it gets tricky. I think that's where the waters get a little muddied sometimes, and you have to. I mean, and we can all just hope to find our A-Rod. I mean, have the Yankees released a new roster this year yet? Because I am waiting with bated breath. I'll tell you what. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this whole situation we're in right now with the pandemic, and I think the funniest, it's not funny, it's interesting, is that everyone's reaction has been like, I just don't know what to depend on. I just can't. And I'm like, you never could. None of this was ever guaranteed in the first place. I could walk out there and get hit by a bus. Like, no one said if you arrange your life this way, you will always be able to depend on X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
so when you say like it's being able to count on someone, it's like you just, at some point when you're as grown as you will, as I am, you will be someday, you just have learned to trust yourself and make better decisions and learn from your lessons. And then when you just have to take chances. You just have to take a chance and say, like, I'm going to leap like you did. 1, 2, 3, 300 feet, like 1, 2, 3, and the good news is I can tell you, you will never get hurt the same way twice if you learn your lessons.
Oh,
You will
always.
have new hurts, but no one will ever hurt you the way you've been hurt before. So it's just up to you to be like, hey, I'm going to give you a chance to catch me when I jump. Like,
Well, somebody said to me recently, because you know me, I will shut things down immediately when people get a little wayward. And somebody said to me, oh, this person thinks you're cute, but they don't want to hurt you. I said, oh, no, 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 honey. See, no. I said, you can only get hurt if you let yourself be hurt. If you go into things with preconceived notions or expectations, I don't have any expectations from this person. I don't want a damn blasted thing. You know what I mean? So
it's a beautiful mindset, zero expectation. That's a difficult place to get to just, good for
oh no, I've
you.
been living there for a minute, girl. I'll send you
Atta
the invite.
girl. Yes,
I'll send you the
please.
invite.
Can I go live with you in no expectation zone?
Yes. Are you kidding? I live in no expectation zone.
Oh, you have
Um,
mastered that so early. I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
well, thank you. What
Yes.
has been like one of your favorite songs that you get to the point in the show that you just go, all right, this is it. I'm going to let it rip.
She used to be mine. No question.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Man.
I mean, it's also so well crafted. You spend the entire show, sitting on your power. She doesn't even find her power till I'm not used to that. I'm not used to playing roles like that. I'm used to giving you all of my power in the opening freaking song. We're
Yeah.
talking about like I'm the greatest star. We're talking about, well, the opening number for CC Bloom and Beaches. We're talking about Wizard and I. Like I've already given it to you and we're not even a half hour into the show. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was a challenge for me with Waitress to be like, she doesn't even discover her power
Yeah.
till 85% of the show is gone. So that was a big release for me. And I'll never tire of that freaking song. God.
Oh my God, amazing song though.
The best. The
I
best.
mean, I'm that way, I think, with I Can Hear the Bells.
Really?
Yeah, ironically enough.
Explain.
Because it's just one of those songs that is just sweet and it makes me feel good. It does. It does. It makes me think of my first love.
Oh,
Yeah, he was on the set of
see?
Hairspray. It was magical.
Oh my
Yeah, so
gosh.
I mean, it's just one of those songs, and I think also what it is people come up to me and say, I played it at my wedding, or I walked down to the aisle to your voice, and it just and it takes on a whole other meaning,
Is that your favorite song from the show?
Um, it might be. It might
Yeah.
be. Yeah, it might. I change it all the time. One week it's Baltimore, one week it's Beat, one week it's, Run and Tell That. I mean, but for me, my favorite one to sing is Baltimore, but my favorite one to like listen to and record was Bells, I think.
Okay.
And I Can Wait was good, was fun too, which was the song that Mark and Scott wrote for the movie, but it didn't make it in because they had to cut it because it was like the 11 o'clock hour, and it was after Latifah's big number, I Know Where I've Been, and
Oh,
it would have
gotcha.
just like slowed it down. So, but it's
Gotcha.
online, and that's a fun one too. But those are just those songs that just mean something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, where did you grow up?
The Northwest. I was born in Olympia, Washington, and then when I was like 9, we moved to Portland, Oregon.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many years did you spend in New York before you?
Not many, shockingly.
Really?
Like 7 or 8.
Okay.
And then I moved to LA, and I have not left.
I know. Oh, I know. Oh, trust me, I lived in LA, and I was like, oh, the weather, and I love it, and I've been missing it. I literally called up my friend yesterday, and he was like, look, You just give me a day's notice, come on out. I was like, don't tell me that.
Yeah,
Ugh, I would
that's
love
good
to be
stuff. Are you still
quarantined.
in Jersey? Where are you? New York, New Jersey?
I'm on Long Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's the city's a little crazy right now.
Insane.
I literally was in Times Square. I was coming back from Jersey, I guess 3 weeks ago now. God. And I was in
Yeah.
the car when all of this started, and it was Shoshana, you could hear a pin drop in Times Square. There was
That's
not a car on the
terrifying to
road.
me.
I made it from Hoboken, New Jersey to Long Island in 35 minutes.
How?
I,
Only during a pandemic.
yes.
Shush.
I was literally, I had my phone up. I was just filming through Times Square because unless you saw it, you wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
There was
The pictures
not
I'm
a
seeing are haunting. It's crazy. Stop, please. It's like a movie set. It's insane.
yeah. Who do you now in LA? No, I know LA is LA, so there's always somebody that's like, you never know who you're going to run into in LA, I find.
Really? I feel like that's New York.
I think it's both for me. I think New York, yes, but I think LA too, because the grocery stores are popping in LA.
Not
They
where I live,
are.
honey. Not where I live. I'm in the valley. They're not popping.
I lived in the valley, but
Did you
like,
live by Rock and Roll Ralph's? Is that the one you're talking about?
no, I
Rock and Roll
remember I
Ralph's is
used
the
to,
one on Sunset, like by the In-N-Out Burger. That's where like all the rock stars go. Rock and Roll Ralph's.
no, I mean, I used to shop at Gelson's,
So
and
you lived in Studio City.
I lived in both,
Okay.
and so yeah, I remember one time I was in Gelson's, and who was in there? But I think John Mayer had just walked out.
Don't tell me that. He's my like one person that I still have yet to meet that I'm like obsessed with. Don't tell me
Uh,
John Mayer.
I didn't meet him, but
Come
I
on,
was just like,
Nikki.
oh, hello. But it's have you met somebody that like I know you said Shirley MacLaine, but like somebody that you like really watched in like movies and like that you like, and then you were like, oh wow, they're really cool.
I recently met Reese Witherspoon at a party and we totally hit it off and have been emailing, and that's crazy to me. Mostly not because, I've been watching Reese for 20 plus years,
Sure.
but mostly because of like it's interesting and you'll come to find it's interesting to age in this business. And it's interesting to watch. I think I've always just been a person who creates her own opportunities just because I've had to.
Yep.
But what she has done in recent years with her production company, with what she did with Big Little Lies, like just what she's done with Little Fires, like she's just what she stands for and what she's done for her career, with her career, and for other older women or aging women in the business is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And her generosity of spirit. I have friends who don't email respond that quickly to things we've discussed. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So to
oh,
have
I
a
know.
woman who you're like, you got how many, 3 kids, this business, this like, and you managed to like send me this information that we discussed, like I just so admirable to me. So she's the most recent exciting thing I can think about. There's been, our business is so cool. You just get to meet new people and collaborate with new people all the time. But that one was cool. Clive Davis came to me in Cynthia's Christmas show. That was like he's the
Yeah.
wizard for me. Like, you're the wizard and I have been singing about all these years. You know what I mean?
Right. That was
So,
me with Mark Shaman.
aw,
Yeah. He was my wizard. He is my wizard.
he
He
is
is
your
a little
wizard,
wizard.
Shay. I
He
love
is
that
a little
guy.
wizard. I love that, man. He emailed me today. Every time, it's so funny. Every time I get an email from him or a text or whatever from him or Adam or Neil, I I'm 17 again.
Aw,
And
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
did I get the part? Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. And yes, it's still yours.
But I think that's one of the greatest thing I think as an actress is I still think you have to always try to keep getting the part even after you got it. You have to
Uh,
keep just like giving it your all and everything. You know what I mean? And
yes
you
and
have been
no.
such
Yes
a
and
leader
no.
in that though.
I think yes and no. I think it depends on what you're meaning, because I think yes, and I caught the tail end of you and Capathia's live as well, where you were talking about like the level of work and the level of professionalism and preparedness and all of that. Yes, 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 yes. And also, like, I find that even still now, I'm like, God, I'm going into this, like, still feeling like I have something to prove. And at some point, you don't have anything to prove. Just let your work speak. You show up caring about the gig. You show up caring about the material. If you don't care about it, please don't show up. What? Are you reading these comments?
You know what? Honestly, if I read every comment and some of the things that people said,
yeah, you don't want. Fair enough.
Please, my head would spin like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Are you kidding?
You're hilarious.
Please, it would be a horror movie real quick.
This is what I'm seeing is blood everywhere. Yeah, I think it's a combo platter. I would love for people to get to a point where they trust themselves and they trust their work and they don't feel like everything is a fight to the death to prove that they belong in the room, or
well,
that
that's what I think I had to learn. I think for a long time after Hairspray, I was like, well, I have to just keep showing everybody that they picked the right girl.
To be here. Yeah, no.
They picked the right girl. And then I finally said to myself, no, they did pick the right girl. You are her.
But see, no one would have been able to tell you that. You're the only one who can come to that. And that's the sad part is like every friend you have, every exec at New Line, Neil, Craig, Adam, everyone can tell you.
Doesn't matter.
You're the one, you're the final critic that matters. And that's, you're the one who has to go to sleep every night being happy with how you presented that day or how your work, and it's the same way when you knocked it out of the park, doesn't matter what anybody else says. I know what I did. I know what I did. It's fine. You liked it, you didn't like it, I don't really care because I'm the one who has to look at me in the mirror. I'm the one who lays down at the end of the night and is like cool with what I did or not, so.
Mm-hmm. I get that. And I always say you can't expect people to buy something that you didn't sell to yourself first. You have to buy your own BS or whatever it is, whatever you have to tell yourself to get through the day and to be like, yes, I do belong here and I'm here for a reason. And then, because you can't expect other people to be like, it's the same way. You can't expect other people to love you if you don't love yourself first,
Totally. And there's people at the top of their game who still feel like they're having to prove that they belong there, which is crazy. So all that to say, like, no amount of success is ever going to give that to you. You just got to make the decision, I guess.
Yeah, you have to. And it's a tricky, fame is a tricky thing to navigate.
You tell me, honey, I wouldn't know.
Oh, you hush it. You stop it. Oh, Bean, I can't with you and your little humble self. She's like,
it's not even humble. Like, fame to me is like you can't walk out of the house. Fame to me is like, it's a very different,
look, John Travolta is fame. Michelle Pfeiffer is fame. When
legend.
You're famous. I'm like, no, I'm not famous. Because once you've been around those people and you see the hysteria that is around them, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's what I associate with fame. For sure. Yeah.
Now, have you, so you did the Broadway show with, Matthew Morrison. Do you know what I said to him when I first met him?
What?
Oh, God, because you know me. I just can't help myself. I said, well, where were you when they were casting my Link? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, well, I love Zach dearly. I said, but I love him so much.
Matthew is dreamy, of course. He has a dream factor that is, it's hard to beat, for sure.
Now, what has been, I have to ask you this because when you showed up at Mark Shaman's party in October, your little fierce self came in a hot pink blazer. And I was like, oh, yes, ma'am.
Hairspray, wow. Come on, Pink.
Yes. Well, who's been one of your favorite designers that has been like, here, wear something from my collection?
Oh, the best designer I've ever worn is Christian Siriano, hands down. That's not a question. He dresses us for our Christmas shows, and I just have never felt more like a goddess or a princess. He also is just like so... a lot of times, you go to borrow from a designer or whatever, and they give you the sample size, and I'm not a sample size.
Oh, honey, hello.
Right. So like if you're going to work with someone,
Costco sample size. Okay.
Not a Costco sample size, but like I'm sure you've been in rooms where someone made you feel wonderful about who you are. And you've been in rooms with designers who made you feel like shit about your body. And
Yep.
and so Christian is just like, he just appreciates the female form in general and always makes us feel beautiful, and it alters things to just really flatter who we are uniquely. And I think he's just one of the most wonderful people first, and talent.
Yes. Well, I mean, I worked with a designer from Project Runway, Milan Breton,
Yeah,
and
I love
yeah,
Milan.
yeah, and it's something, first of all, there's something about a gay man that just knows how to dress the female form,
Yeah.
especially a singer, a female like diva. Oh, they know what they want to see. And so, but I remember when I did the Bravo A-List Awards with Milan, he actually didn't even, he got my measurements. I was in LA. He said, send me your measurements. I had to walk the runway. But I didn't get to try the dress on before I went out.
Ooh.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God, terrifying.
And he put it
Never
on
do
me.
that, children. Never, ever do that. Learn from Auntie Nikki.
I was so nauseous. And I remember I went backstage and they put it on and it felt like a glove.
Oh my God, that rarely happens. That is
I
a miracle.
know. It was a miracle. And then, it sold for a lot of money for charity. And I think that's one of the coolest things. Yeah. What's been one of your like favorite charity events that you've done?
Off the top of my head, probably the Trevor Project.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's just a great vibe in that room. It's a great, great, great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Shoshana Bean, can we?
Yeah.
I've been looking at you this whole FaceTime, and I'm like, we could play sisters easily.
Let's do it. I'll call
saying,
Winnie.
Please.
Yes, I would love it. It would be an honor. I've always felt like you're a little sister. I know we haven't gotten to be in the same place at the same time very often, but you have to know, Hairspray. I can't ever talk about Hairspray without crying, but Hairspray is like the most precious thing to me from my whole career. And I've had wonderful things happen, but that is my family. That show is my heart. It was the best 2 years of my life. And when they said they were making the movie, it was difficult for us because we couldn't ever imagine anybody else taking on. That was our creation. Do you know what I mean? So we were like, we just couldn't imagine that they wouldn't fuck it up, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I remember within the opening number, I was like, oh, we're good. This is in fantastic hands. It's beautifully directed. You are fantastic. Wow. So, there's just kind of like an instant family connection that happens with that show. And you guys were no different. You just were an extension of what, we felt like, what we had started in New York. Like the movie was absolutely an extension of that.
Well, you guys just set it up for us. You set us up, and then we just, you know what I mean? If you guys didn't do what you did and create the fan base that you guys created, and I mean, you know what I mean? It was a movie, sure, Hairspray could have come out, but it wouldn't have been as successful as it would have, if you guys didn't put in the work on the Broadway show. And
well, that's kind. I don't know about that, but I think all that to say, you guys did. It was so beautifully, beautifully done.
Well, thank you. I mean, and you've always been somebody that I've looked up to with your work and your voice, and just because you've always been fearlessly Shoshana Bean, and I love that about you. I love that about you. And, in this business and seeing other women stand up and take their stance and say, this is where I belong. This is what I'm going to do. And whether you like it or not. And I mean, you've done that. Carpathia's done that. And I respect it so much. So thank you for, paving the way for people like little old me.
Oh, Mama, it's an honor. It's a great, great honor to watch you, step in and show out.
Well, it's honestly an honor to share this screen with you.
Oh, thank you, baby.
I
you
want
have
the
to
big
see this,
screen.
though.
I shoot for the stars, but
this little girl said I was supposed to play Tracy this month, but it got canceled. Oh, I'm so sorry, Emily.
I know. I've been getting so many of these DMs, and it's breaking my heart. And I've been making. Do you do cameos, Shoshana?
I do. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So I've been getting a lot of. I'm sure you've been too. Like the shows are canceled, and what I just keep telling people is, look, if Broadway's down, where the motto is literally the show must go on. If Broadway's down, don't feel that bad.
I know.
It still sucks, though. I know.
We love you, Mini Tracy.
Yes, we love you. And we love you, Shoshana Bean.
I love you,
Thank you
sweetheart.
so
It's good to
much.
see you. Thanks for reaching out. Have a good
And this is crazy. My
quarantine.
publicist just texted me,
Shh.
15 on my TikTok video to that silly dance. Why don't you say so? Just got 15,000 likes. I don't know. This is great.
Congrats. She's doing big things during the quarantine, honey.
Yeah, I'm dancing in my backyard with a light
Listen,
stand. Big things.
simple pleasures.
I'm a simple woman, and you're a beautiful woman. Thank you so
Good
much,
to see you,
Shoshana.
Mama.
We
I love
love
you. Take care, baby.
Bye.
Bye, honey.
Oh my God, you guys. What an epic night. Oh, the Broadway divas were out tonight. Oh my God. Big, huge thank you to Carpathia Jenkins, my soul sister, and my other soul sister. Oh, my sister from another mister, Shoshana Bean. Wow, what an epic night. I mean, you guys literally had Newsies, Hairspray, Wicked, The Waitress, all in one night. I don't know what we could do to top this, you guys, but tomorrow we'll be back with the one and only Mr. Carson Kressley is going to be here. We're going to talk RuPaul's Drag Race. We're going to find out all the tea. It's going to be piping hot. It's going to be fantastic. That is tomorrow, Saturday. And then Sunday, oh my goodness, I believe Sunday, I'm trying to remember who is on Sunday. I know it's an epic night. And then, of course, this week coming up, we have Robert Richard from Empire and Chocolate City. We have James Maslow from Big Time Rush. We have, very excited, my dear friend Haley Hasselhoff from Huge is going to be joining us. Yes, Haley signed on today, and we are going to hang out with Haley and talk Huge, another great project of mine that was so much fun. And, of course, we have the brilliant queens from RuPaul's Drag Race coming in, some more housewives. We're keeping you guys busy. It's epic. We have Ryan Casada, who's going to be singing on the show from his new album, The Witches Made Me Do It, which is going to be epic. I cannot wait to hear it. No, I don't have Donny Osmond, but why not yet, you know? Ryan's going to be on the show. Ryan Cabrera is going to be on the show. Yes. On the way down, I saw you and you saved me from myself. And I don't forget the way you love me. Oh, yes. We are going to go in with Mr. Cabrera. We're going to talk the Hills because those were my high school years. Oh, the Hills. Oh. So we're going to talk to Ryan about that. Another huge friend that I cannot wait to announce her, but she is one of your favorite actresses and social activists, and I cannot wait to have her on the show. You guys, it's crazy. I know I'm missing some people. We have my friend Schiffer Zuckerman, who is from my movie Ghost in the Graveyard. She's going to be here. We're going to talk about that movie as well. You guys, it's crazy. We're having so much fun with this show. I cannot wait. I constantly, every day, I see the guest list growing and growing, and I'm like, I don't know how this is happening, but we're doing it here at Nikki Nights. Thank you to my fearless leader, Diana Ziskin, my publicist, who is just working her little tail off. Thank you all to our assistant, Danny, who's working so hard on this every single day. I feel like I'm giving an award show speech, but I'm just really proud of this, you guys. I'm really having a great time. Every day I get to wake up and go into my DMs and see who responded, and who knows. It's been pretty interesting to see who did. So we're going to be talking to some epic people this week. We have so many amazing shows for you. Tonight, we gave you so much Broadway and so much more. We talked Michael Jackson. We talked Shirley MacLaine. You guys, this show is kind of getting just legendary guests, and I don't really know how I'm doing it. So, but thank you for letting me do it, and thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be hanging there with you. We will see you guys tomorrow with Carson Kressley. Until then, you guys, have a great night, and be safe, be well, and be beautiful. You already are. Bye.